Hello, House of Mouse Reviews here for a book review. Yep, I'm finally doing a book review after a very long time. Yep, I always did say I would review books, but they didn't usually come up a lot on this channel. But we're here to do one now, and I think this is one that I've been wanting to do. And I think this one's pretty relevant, to be honest, with considering what I've done before, and also considering some of my bigger reviews from last year were all related to this company. Now, you may remember back when I first started doing reviews in my second year, back in 2019, I took a look at an art book. And what art book was that? Well, the art book in question was The Art of Dreamworks Animation. This was their art book they released in celebration of their 20th anniversary and featured and showed off all the concept art and and other mystical and other stuff that they in prep for all their films that were released or were going to be released up until that point when this film was published back in 2014. And it could be considered outdated in a lot of areas. That's the big one being the fact that in 2014, for this book, they included animation stills from the then unreleased film Home, which ended up getting delayed and released in 2015, and taking its spot was the Penguins of Madagascar film, and that obviously wasn't included in this. But I still found it enjoyable, and I still gave it a high score, and I still love looking through it and seeing everything, and being the huge DreamWorks fan I am, it's always a bit, it holds a special place with me. Now, but that was the 20th anniversary. Now we move on, but today we're looking at their newest book for their 30th anniversary, and the site, and after looking and considering the size of this, how big does it get? Well, oh, we almost double the size, or triple, whatever you want us to. In fact, and this is just the case. Jeez, jeez. Here we are, the art of DreamWorks Animation celebrating 30 years. How could, jeez, I'm going to be in for a lot of reading and looking. Oh boy, oh boy. Well, anyway, let's just get started, shall we? So considering how big the book is, how exactly does this book exceed its predecessor? Well, I can tell you by one thing. We're not only are we covering all their films, including their ones that were released up since 2014, so we actually do get Penguins of Madagascar in there and Homes in its correct place and order. So, so we basically, and so we end up the wild for the animation of the wild robots. We also get the DreamWorks' animations TV shows. Yeah, pretty much all their TV shows covered from 2010 onwards are in this book, and we see their all their creators and the people who worked on it talk about it and discuss their own thoughts and feelings behind it. It's great. It's fantastic. Love it, love it. But I'm not here to talk about that but we'll get to that later. In terms of the art book, pretty much it just basically does, it's the same as what the previous book was like, where the films created, where the people who worked on each of these films talk about their experience making them and how much they, you know, enjoyed what they were doing and their own thoughts behind how the film turned out in their own view. Pretty much everyone who was involved, who worked with DreamWorks from throughout all their 30 years are here to do their stuff. Some of them even returning from their who did comments in the previous book. But it's just limited to the filmmakers and the animators, even a bit of the composers. We also have the actors actually providing some information here and there. Yeah, we actually get to see a lot of the actors actually come in. The most obvious one being Cameron Diaz, who now does the foreword instead of Jeffrey Katzenberg. But others do provide their own thoughts on voicing their characters and how much they enjoyed it. So you'll see the likes of Jack Black and Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy. You know, I think Ben Stiller's in there too. Antonio Banderas. Yeah, basically the ones who voiced the DreamWorks' most iconic characters and throughout their franchises, they all come in to provide their own thoughts on how much they enjoyed doing what they did. Yeah, it's great. I mean, beforehand there was only really one actor who actually did any comments. Yeah, it's handled really well. And to be fair, while some artworks carried over from other film from the previous book, we do get a lot of newer stuff that we haven't seen before, and it's actually kind of nice. I mean, granted, I'm pretty sure some of these might have shown up in DreamWorks exhibitions at film museums, but probably I think some might even be at the one in Melbourne. But it is pretty cool to see, and I enjoy it. And it's always nice to see, just I always like just looking at these arts and the artwork and see how far each of these films came from their conceptualization, and even some of the behind the scenes stuff, like a bit of like a bit of fun stuff here and there. We even got to see a few movie stills that scenes that actually did screenshots of scenes that actually did make the actual films, more so than the previous film, than the previous book actually. I mean, the previous book probably had more, probably showed most of the stuff in the Iron Man movies and all that. But yeah, we also get also new is the fact we actually get descriptions of what the film of the plots actually at the beginning of each section for each film. And I like that. And I mean, considering I haven't seen all the films that DreamWorks have released, I mean, look, I'm a fan, but I haven't seen everything, so just keep that in mind. I mean, come on. Some of the troll. Can you give me a? Can you understand why I wouldn't watch some of the Trolls films or the Boss Baby franchise? I like DreamWorks, but I'm not prepared to watch everything that, especially stuff that just seems stupid. In fact, just to let you know, one film I will not review this year will be the Gary's Playhouse film. You have to understand that. You have to understand why. But yeah, I really do enjoy that they added them in there, and also you get to see and at the very end they detail all the awards the films were nominated for and actually won. So not so the Oscars, the Golden Globes, the Annies, and a few other and BAFTAs here, and yeah, it's pretty good. But I think one. So yeah, pretty much everything's covered. Yeah, I'm pretty glad for that. Though I think though to be fair, after doing pretty much as soon as I looked into it, I did a head count to make sure every film was present, and there was one that was missing. I have to remember what it was. Oh yeah. In fact, I'm just gonna go on a bit of a rant here. Why doesn't DreamWorks talk more about Joseph King of Dreams? I mean, as you know from my review, I actually really do enjoy the film, and yeah, it's not as grand as The Prince of Egypt, and yeah, as far as I do know, this film had its troubled production, but people still enjoy this and still consider it a good film. So come on, God, DreamWorks, just show us a little bit of artwork in its production, just to see that you did still do it, and more than just All we really have is that animation test that you see a bit on Wikipedia. That's really about it with it. And of course, you got to also keep in mind that whilst a lot of the people who've been involved worked at DreamWorks do provide a lot of the commentary and talk about everything, there are some that are missing. Not especially those who were involved in the previous book. So one of the main ones you can immediately recognize is that is Jeffrey Katzenberg isn't doesn't do the foreword. As I said, it's now Cameron Diaz. And I mean, yeah, he's retired from DreamWorks now, but you know, um, I I would have liked to at least have him give a bit of commentary, even if it's just for some of the films he was mainly involved in, like The Prince of Egypt, Spirit, Shrek. Yeah, could have done stuff with that. And another one that is missing, though, to be fair, he wasn't in the previous book when he was still alive, is the late Kelly Asbury, who co-directed Shrek 2 and Spirit Stallion the Cimarron, who unfortunately passed away back in 2020. Again, he wasn't in the previous book, and it's understandable why he's not in here. But it is a little bit of you can feel a little bit upset when you realize just he's no longer around. Um, I guess the other thing to mention are the TV shows. Yeah, and I mean, I like the for DreamWorks TV series. I like what I've seen, but I should mention I haven't seen every show they ever worked on. I've only seen a few here and there. I mean, I saw the How to Train Your Dragon stuff, most of the Kung Fu Panda things, and from what I've and after being recommended a bunch of times from friends, I did watch a little bit of Voltron. But yeah, that's really about it. And I mean, and come on, if they're going to exclude Joseph King of Dreams, why are they showing stuff from Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate? Look, I still haven't seen that, so just keep that in mind. I don't know why that's in there. I mean, show Megamind rules, maybe even include as maybe po- share a same chapter, but come on, you didn't have. I'm sure people are still a bit angry after how that turned out. And much like how, and I guess in terms of the TV series, as I said, this covers from basically from the first How to Train Your Dragon TV show back released in 2010, 2011 onwards. So yeah, you missed out on quite a lot. There's no Kung Fu Panda Legends of Awesomeness, and there's no Penguins of Madagascar. Hell, I would have probably been okay if they have included Father of the Pride, which I know they also DreamWorks also doesn't want to bring up too much, considering how much it was a critical failure. But just would have liked to see if they actually referenced all their things they worked on. I mean, I guess probably in hindsight, the fact that they haven't included all those shows released before 2010, 2011, is probably worse off than the fact they exclude just one film from their film part. But yeah, it's kind of a little unfortunate. I mean, the Penguins of Madagascar in particular is probably DreamWorks' most popular and longest running show. So yeah, you would have a no-brainer for them to include it. I don't know. Maybe Nickelodeon has a bit of a tight grip on these things, so it's hard to say. But in the end, I still enjoy looking into these TV shows and their animation and all that. And who knows, maybe it might convince me down the track to actually look at some of this stuff. I mean, I'm probably interested one day looking at the Fast and Furious TV show, and some of these other Kung Fu Panda stuff. I'm always down for it. And who knows, maybe at some point I'll review Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate and Megamind rules. And only time will tell. Oh yeah, another thing I just want to mention: none of their TV specials are also in this, which for what it is, I can give or take some of them, but I think some would have been good to include. I mean, some of the Kung Fu Panda stuff has always got good animation, and I would have liked to see that get shown a bit more. And the How to Train Your Dragon, should, ones that they're also pretty good, and I think they could have been included in there. I mean, one thing that isn't in the Hidden World segment is showing the animation design their early concept designs for Hiccup and Astrid's two children at the end of the film, Zephyr and Nothing. And yeah, so I probably would have wished they had have included Homecoming in there so I could actually see a bit more of their character designs. Yeah, that's pretty much it with that. And for what it is, eh, give or take, but I would have liked them to include them. But with that said, I still think this new Art of DreamWorks Animation book is a great purchase, and I'm glad to have it. It is, as a fan of DreamWorks, I'm always going to love it and what they do when I get to see the stuff uh, of how they made their films. And it's always good to see that they include more of their history with their TV shows and all that, even if they are missing still a fair few things. There are a lot of fans probably wish they could have added in there. But, for what it is, it's still a good purchase. It's still a good book to have. And if you have the previous one, like I do, it's worth including both in the new one to your collection. This is easily a 10 out of 10 has stars, and I'm glad I've been given I've got it in, That's me. I'm always look forward to what comes out in the future with DreamWorks. And well, I love the fact that we've got this new book. Their history is, I love their history. Yeah, I love, I love this stuff. Yeah, great. So, but now we move back to doing movie reviews. And, well, considering relevance and timing, it's time to get into the new Captain America film. And yep, that'll be my next review. And hopefully it won't be at least a week and a bit between this video and that. So yeah, give it a chance and give it time, and we'll see how things turn out. But in the meantime, House of France Reviews is out, and I shall see you for my next review. Ciao.